Damn, what's going on, y'all? I don't know if y'all can see me in this weather. It's Fury. I'm out here walking the dog in the South District, in Jersey City. But you, you gonna make it do what they do. I didn't think the live work anymore. They took for many years. They've taken away the live feature where if you were under a certain amount of subs, you weren't able to go live from your mobile phone. But I guess they brought that back, and no one told me. No one told me. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna take the long route with PD right here. I got my dog. I had two before, but it's been over a year since Chip died, the father dog. So I'm now stuck with the kid. I make it sound like it's about like the baby mother passed away, shit. But no, you get what I'm saying. Um, I'm out here, and every week I hear more and more discourse about the situation. And we're not, and you probably looking at the title like, okay, get into that. I mean what I say. You're not a fan of the genre. You just want your boy to win. And I'm talking about this whole situation. I'm so like, are we through this yet? The Gen X tour. Hey, what's going on, brother man? To you. Yeah. The Gen X tour is well on its way, my dude. It's successful. But we got grown people still online. And I can't believe this is what music has come down to. Just propaganda online against or for your favorite artist. And one person wants to let the music speak for itself. One person wants to let the music speak for itself, while the other wants narrative and lies to speak for them because they are the numbers person. Now, in this whole situation, you'll understand that Aubrey Drake Graham is the numbers guy. It's like he's been driven for many years to just be accepted. So many years to be accepted. So I gotta stop with my dog right here. So many years to be accepted, and the music hasn't grown from there. People are more entangled with a cookie cutter sound, a cookie cutter imitation. They want the. This is why Young Thug said what he said. I'm a Drake fan. I don't understand why my name was brought up. Lil Baby was acting a certain way. I'm like, come on here. And no disrespect to Atlanta, but if your best and your brightest can't pick up metaphors, I don't know what to tell you. Only two chains. City Boy was the only one that was like, yo, that was a play on words. He said, because, Drake and I made a song called No Lie. And then Not Like Us, he said, Two James said you were good, but he lied. It was a play on the word no lie. He the only one that picked up that stuff. And I got to a debate with a female from down there saying, I'm taking it as a shot. When Kendrick said what he said, it's a shot to Atlanta. No, it's a shot to Drake. He putting Atlanta on the map, saying that Atlanta is that, and how heavily Atlanta is influential to Drake's whole persona. So how is that taking a shot at Atlanta? I think the only people that are really taking a shot at Atlanta right now is the artists themselves, the Lil Baby's response and the Young Thug response, because these niggas showing that they ain't that bright. Think about it. Follow with me here. If you can't catch a metaphor and you can't fathom that that he's saying that your culture down there in ATL is the culture that this man owes a lot of his career to. I don't know what to tell you. And you said, brother man, nobody knows how to make music nowadays, in my opinion. Some people do, but it ain't the guy they like. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a big Kendrick Lamar fan, but I don't need to be online fighting and defending him. Because he's not online making any antics. The music speaks for itself. People and his character speaks for himself. I don't need to be online defending that. First off, I'm older than that. I'm older than that, man. Number two, it's music. Meaning, yes, the music I find I find his music better than Drake. It has more substance to it. And people, I'm so sick of hearing this. Oh well, you got to understand, not everything needs to be serious. Not all Kendrick music is serious. Like, so what are we talking about here? This it disgusts me because people put this whole thing in it saying like, oh, you got to his music is too deep. No, no, it's not. That's what his ops would say because they don't want you to listen. It's like back in the day when we had alcohol and then we had traditional alcohol and cognacs over in France. And then absinthe came out. And absinthe was looked at as a threat to the traditional alcohol. So they started making up shit about absinthe, saying that absinthe made you see fairies and shit. That this is how people I believe Kendrick is the absinthe to the hip hop game. They make up a certain perception. They try to put him in a certain box because this is all they want him to sound like, so they can have something to talk about. Like you gotta see these pretty heifers like Portia the Shannon online sitting there constantly making fun of him. And I'm like I said earlier, I don't have to defend Kendrick, but this is how you this is how you get into good grace. What about the music? Tell me right now. Tell me right now, brother man, to you, if you're still listening. Did you think some shitty songs for you was a dope album? I mean, if you did, I won't hold it against you, but name your songs if you think that album was dope. And I'm reading your comment. You said music is supposed to be stuff different. They only want one specific type of hip hop to be the forefront of the genre. And it's the stuff that promotes simplistic, stupid shit. Where I remember listening to the radio growing up. And I mean, 80s, the 90s, early 2000s, it was like this, especially like the early 90s. You could listen to some of every hip hop on radio during the countdown at 7 or 8, the 8 at 8, the top 8 at 8. You could hear a Public Enemy song, you could hear a Kid and Play song, you could probably hear Brand Nubians, you could hear all of this on the radio. Where did it go wrong? When money started getting involved. Where it's something that Poor Righteous Teachers said, Wise Poetic said years ago from Poor Righteous Teachers. When the music was inspiring people to have hope in themselves, they burnt shit down. Not he didn't say burnt. They pretty much went out there and were activists. But when the music was promoting dumb shit, they were docile and they were going along with it. And Drake's music is that representation of being docile. It's all about being up in the club. How many times did I hear you say something about somebody doing a girl doing mollies, and you talking about getting it on with the girl doing mollies? Like, do that sound consensual? Like, be smart in this music. Remember, she ain't even know it. Remember when Rick Ross said he put something in her drink, she ain't know it. I had fun with that, she ain't even know it. And then he tried to come backtracking, like, girl, you got to understand, women are queens and stuff like that. No, nigga, you said what you said in that song, and that shit was creepy. So when I hear like on "Give Me a Hug" on some sexy song, so I hear a brother saying, I hear a brother saying, telling a stripper to give him a hug in the club, or he's saying, "What you want to? What's gonna? If I'm not on top of the game, what's going who's how's going to be 29-year-old women over 29 talking with a dictionary, like, nigga, you almost 40 years old and you out here just wanting this like Peter Pan, Aubrey, stop it. Nobody wants to hear that all day. I'm not saying there's not a place for it. It's just the music is like, come on, man. What happened? You said has he made anything that was cultural? No, he stays away from it. Pusha T called him out for that years ago, y'all. He's like, you were quiet, you quiet on everything, but you want to be respected as a black man because your daddy from Memphis. Bro, like you steer away from stuff like that. When Paige, remember Paige Kennedy, the actor slash comedian, comedic actor Paige Kennedy from Blue Mountain State, the show where the guy who played Reacher was a football player, you know, Alan Richardson, it was Paige Kennedy, all of them. Sorry, my allergies bugging. And that guy, Paige Kennedy, used to do these skits on YouTube like a while ago called That's So Drake. Yo, it affected him so personally. He called up and left voice messages on Paige Kennedy's account talking about, yeah, hey, this is Drake. I see your videos and it's funny, but I have to tell you that I fucking abundance of bad bitches. Like, bro, what? Like, seriously? That's where we went. That you went to that? Like, see, and stuff like that. Just cosplaying, cosplaying. Yeah, you remember Page Kennedy, right? I remember when he put them damn bananas in his mouth, was making for the consequence. He like, if I could close my mouth, I'll call Joe Button a bitch ass nigga. I got the new veneers in my mouth and I call them tater skins. Yeah, Page Kennedy, that dude. And he can rap too. I remember he did a song with Elza from Slum Village. Yeah, oh yeah, that nice to get out and get some exercise. You just get the pen working. I'm like, what pen? That's another thing too. I can't rock with it. If your pen is compromised, I can't rock with you. As I don't give a damn how many albums you sold. You know how much shit people have done and a lot of corporate trash that's been out. Lots of it. There's a lot of corporate trash out there. So it's people don't like the way that it's going. The narrative is going back to what it is. When this is what I was talking about earlier before I always get sidetracked about back when there was the top 888 on Hot 97. You could hear such a diverse array of hip hop. I loved it. That's what I was talking about with that. And this brings me to the fact that somebody has to come back and push the narrative that we can have so much fun if we don't put hip hop in just one box of it talking about Molly music and fucking bitches all the time. We don't need to hear that all day, every day. People live in real life. Having one woman is hard enough. But you trying to promote all this and being up in the club, like, no, that I don't want to hear that all the time. Even back when I was in my 20s, I didn't want to hear that because reality is a bitch. I know a few people who got some shit put in their drinks and they were never the same after that. A family member of mine got something put in his drink, y'all, and he was never the same after that. So you promoting doing drugs up in the club like that kind of hits personal with me because I don't want to that's not something I want to see a female go through. That's somebody's son or daughter. Like it's not funny. To me it's not. And you talking about that, this girl, she's doing this and she's doing that. And I'm like, bro, you 38. Be a responsible adult. Stop running around on stage, every venue with children's rain boots on and stupid, bright looking sweatshirts. You know what? I bring that up because R. Kelly in his 50s was dressing like a fuckboy to stay within the realm of younger females. Y'all remember that, right? You see pictures of him wearing a sweatsuit with Pac-Man designs on it and wearing a book bag on his back with his hoodie over his head. I'm like, you're 50 something years old, my man. You're 50 something years old. Wow, like a whole suit, like that energy, you trying to emulate the energy because people want to attract what they desire. And he will never live down that as long as he keeps himself like that, dressing, going to Australia with his shirt on saying, wait till you see this with an arrow pointed down with some stupid boots on and stuff like that. Come on, man. That's all childish shit. Let your maturity speak through your music. You don't have to put on the ascot like Freddie from Scooby Doo and start talking about taxes and retirement, but grow the fuck up to a certain degree. A lot of people don't understand. You need to grow up to a certain degree. How would we look at Jay Z being in his late 50s still talking about Marcy projects, despite him accomplishing so much? How would you feel about that if Jay Z to this day was still talking about Marcy projects and hustling, even though we know that man ain't struggling for nothing? Yeah, you're right, brother, man. You said old people want to be young and young people want to be old. I'm like, look, at this point, I'm I'm in my mid 40s, and I'm like, bro, it is what it is. I don't want to be young anymore. I'm not young. I can't beat back the clock. It's about making those seconds left feel the most comfortable before your time runs out. Not somebody getting on the interview saying, well, my other two in the competition, my two are up there with me. They do their albums, then they go home and they live lives, quiet lives with their family. I'm the last one out here living this hip hop life. I'm living it for real. Nobody says you have to live that to be a good artist. Like, do his absorption and his path through our culture of hip hop is so surface level. It's so surface level. Like that's not what living the hip hop like. You at the end of the day, what's supposed to supersede that is a maturity as a person. Because how does it feel authentic if you're making music about your struggles and you're not struggling no more? Or if you're gonna move on to a new struggle, it should be something interpersonal. This is why a lot of people liked the narrative of To Pimp a Butterfly. That album took a while to grow on me because it was so different from Good Kid, Mad City. It took a minute to grow on me. It wasn't something like I instantly like, oh, it's a new Kendrick album, I love it. No, I had to do some growing up, and I had to get my mind right. And then when I felt like I was in a good place, I listened to that album again. Not even wanting to be in a good place because I need to listen to a Kendrick album. I need to be in a good place. No, just like I told you, it was so different from To Pimp a Butterfly. I wasn't ready to take that in. And then when one day I just was like, fuck it, let me just put it on. And I done went through some things and I'm like, I know just how this feels. I know just how where he coming from. It took me about same thing with Damn and Mr. Around the Big Steppers. These are not albums I just jump on because I like the guy. It took me a while to just get to those albums. And then when you got to them, it's like I felt like, all right, I'm here. I understand this a little bit more. And it's just because I did some interpersonal growing. And you see, The Pimple Butterfly was basically about trying to stay away from the temptations of the rap game, which is a play on Buried Alive. If you listen to the Buried Alive verse that Kendrick had on the Drake album, he been battling that for a minute. And To Pimple Butterfly went into that even deeper about that. And then basically, Damn was an album that you needed to play from backwards to the beginning. I just found that out a couple of weeks ago that album was in reverse. Or is it in reverse? It depends on where you at in your life. Oh no, Jersey City is far from quiet. Kennedy Boulevard at this time of night is quiet. And I got my dog with me too. And as you can see, I'm not looking at the camera because I'm keeping an eye peripheral on him, make sure he don't pick up nothing in his mouth, and to watch my sides. But yeah, this is South District, Jersey City, probably the most fucked up looking side because the policing is how can we say? The policing is very lax up here because in certain areas of there, they not gonna care. Mayor Fulop don't want the city and the South District to get improved into more of his people from Hall J and the white folks buy up more property. Once they buy up more property, the policing will get more serious. But as for us Negroes, even though a lot of us are working class, he don't give a fuck about us. He don't. Him and his wife, who has an alleged history of being a bigot, the hell with her too. He said he haven't been in Jersey City in 10 years. Born and raised here, up here I'm out here, right here near Audubon Park, NJCU. That used to be called Jersey City State College. Um, that is right here. I live right up the street from it. Audubon connects to Wegman Parkway. So I'm right up here. And I'm EMT in the city too. So it's pretty much I got roots here. I got my career is right here right now. So a lot of people I would tell you guys a call I have Friday, and I am not making this call up. All right, so we get a call, and it's for a 34-year-old male who was found in his bathroom, intoxicated by his mother, and she said that she pulled a can, an aerosol can, out of the dude's ass. She pulled the aerosol can. She said he must have slipped and fell on that can. Yes, I am not making it. I'm dead serious. She said she pulled that mofo out and and it was, she said it was bleeding. She put a diaper, she put her granddaughter's diaper on her son and pulled and got him dressed. A 34-year-old man so drunk with a history of him, he ain't supposed to be there living at a house because of his history, and he's not on the lease, but she don't want him out in the street, so I understand. So we had to try to carry him out with his face covered. Yeah, what the hell, indeed. We had to try to carry him out and make sure that it was all right. Yo, that can, the girth of that can, like you ever bought those blade cans or the cans of shaving cream, the tall cans, like the tall cans of shaving cream? It was about that thick, dude. She said it was far up there. This guy was, when the coagulated blood on the bathroom floor showed that this was GI. He done caused, in turn, he done got up in his GI area, his gastrointestinal area. That was GI bleed. I know the blood when I see it because I've been doing this for like 6 years plus. So you done, once you see certain bleeds, you learn, the paramedics will tell you, and you learn in the smell. It smelled like this blood and shit. It's awful. Can you hear me again now? I'm sorry, I might be in an area. All right. I'm still breaking up. It's because I'm probably moving from tower to tower. Come on, Petey. Oh, I'm good now. Yeah, it's probably near that park area because now I'm back in this area. I kid you not, man. I could not believe it. And then she said he fell on it. I find it highly unlikely that you fell and landed on a can and it went perfectly spray side up in your ass. Yeah, he survived. The nurses was like, "Are y'all serious?" I'm like, I asked my dispatcher that. When the notes came on my CAD and I read it, I was like, Unit 315. They was like, 315. I was like, I am confirming the notes with you. She was like, yes, it's those are the notes. So I was like, okay, receive. And me and my partner, We were like, you got to be on our way there. We were like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Yeah, he in that hospital, and he was so drunk that it didn't even he wasn't even reacting to the pain. But he said as time went on, he started feeling it more. I bet you did. I bet you did. I bet you started feeling it more. Now you know how Meek Mill felt at the freak off when Diddy got to him. Pause. Because if that audio is to be believed, I'm like, bro, nah. If that audio is actually them, because it sounds like them. I was like, yo, this no, this can't be right. This can't be right. But yeah, that's the type of stuff I see. And that was the weirdest one. That's something you only see on television shows. Like, I mean, as for that, in regards to that, like, who's the one that they did something to in New York with the plunger? That was Abner Luima. Remember the Abner Luima situation? That was police did that. Like, what type of sick bastards did that? And where was it also where police? There was policemen that was brutalizing black people, and they were doing stuff to them like that. I forgot where that was, what state that was. Yeah, Abner Luima was that one. And I'm like, a plunger, the plunger stick. No, this was thicker. This was a thicker. I was like, bro, you bastards are sick. But this guy did this to himself under the influence of alcohol and possibly E. They ain't learned about that E from Ja Rule. Yeah, a lot of weird stuff been happening. Oh yeah, did you hear about the Strickland? What's the MMA guy? I think I brought it up um earlier with Torian during the Sunday on stream. And whatever that MMA Sean Strickland, whatever his name is, talking about you out there wishing harm on Carmelo Anthony because of the whole situation, and people got the nerve to be in the comment section of certain things saying it's not that we saying Carmelo Anthony is wrong because he's black, it's because he brought a knife. I'm like, spare me, like cut this shit. I'm tired of hearing about this. It was it's unfortunate that people lose their lives in situations like this, and nobody should be happy that this happened. Nobody should be happy that that boy lost his life. But let's be honest here. Him and his brother were witnessed bullies. Witness bullies. Why are you bullying an 130 something pound kid? And y'all both like football players, like 200 pounds each, and you bullying a kid. Why were you bullying him? Because is it racial? Is it not? I'm going with yeah, it is. Because y'all bullied him because y'all felt y'all could. Why? Like twin brothers. This is what twin brothers do. Twins in general. You know how many twins I grew up with, and they jump people. And Hunter, what did Hunter said? What did Hunter say? He said, he circled around behind Carmelo. Why are you circling behind him? You ain't gonna let your brother shoot the fade on his own. You were ready to grab him. That's just what was gonna happen. You gonna grab him, your brother gonna start punching him. That's what motherfuckers do. One of y'all had one alone had 60 to 70 pound weight advantage on him, and you still refuse to shoot him the fade. That's the thing I don't understand. Like I said, I'm not happy anyone died, but the coaches actually were there. They were present. And then nobody broke this up. Now, if this was, I bet any amount of money, if it was an interpersonal thing, both people went to the same school, they belonged in the tent, there was a fight, they would have broke this up. But from everything I keep hearing over the last few months, basically the people under that tent the authorities, the teachers or whatever, the coaches weren't doing shit because they knew Carmelo didn't belong there and possibly other things to insinuate. They knew that, and they just basically let it happen until Austin ended up being deleted. And I have to say that it was just a perfect storm of bad decision making. But if adults would have been adults and stopped letting kids be kids, I bet a lot of this would have been prevented. No, I think let me see. I gotta look up the fight I was telling you like that said that the MMA fighter that was wishing harm on Carmelo Anthony. And I'm like, is it like I don't know why motherfuckers be souping their engines up to sound like lawnmowers. All right, so like I was trying to say, like I was trying to say, like first you like to tell black folks this is not racial, y'all making it racial, and then it is racial when it's beneficial to them and their narrative, and I'm so sick of it. This is about self-defense. Why he have a knife though? I'm like, Texas is stand your ground law. They have stand your ground law. Sorry, I'm in. It's just no lights over here. I can still see the screen. It's a stand your ground law, but why doesn't stand your ground has an infamous history of not working in black people's behavior? Why are you riding your e-bike on the sidewalk, my man? Okay, he lives there. Feel like an asshole now. All right, I'm just trying to get up this hill. It's dark as shit out here. And I know y'all can't see me now. You can see me now. So I'm thinking to myself, it has stand your ground. When has stand your ground worked for a black American in Florida and Texas? I'm thinking like if you know it, let me know it. Maybe I missed something. That lady, that black woman that fired a shot in the air to get her abusive husband away from her, isn't she in jail still? Has she gotten out? Have they overturned that? Hmm? Now they're mad because the bail got reduced, but then again they want to forget. They forgot about Brock Turner. The judge basically said Brock Turner has his whole life ahead of him. Yeah, he made a foolish decision trying to rape somebody, but he has his whole life ahead of him. A kid defended himself. He jabbed the other dude with you know what, and he ran, but he came back and owned up to him and see if he was all right. The kid, if you are malicious in what you're doing, you would have sat there and basically try to inflict more damage. And no, he knew he was about to get jumped. And I'm not making this up. If Carmelo was, if his name was Carlton Anthony, and he looked a different way, and I heard about this story of self-defense, I would say the same thing, especially because Carmelo came back to check and fessed up to it. Nobody caught him. Nobody tracked him down. Nobody said he ran home and he evaded police. No, he came back and owned up to it. It was self-defense, manslaughter at the most, but I'm going with self-defense. And that's what I mean because this shouldn't be going the way it is. It is. Doesn't bring me any solace. This ain't me saying, yeah, we got another one. No. See, this is what how they thought about the whole Daniel Penny situation. They was thinking that it was another victory, but we're the ones bringing up racial shit, right? But they counting Jordan Neely's death as a victory, and then you have that dude coming outside. What's his name? Nick Lang or whatever the fuck his name is. Talking about, well, I've been a victim. And I've been afraid of all the crime that black people have been committing around me and stuff, and I fear for my life. Save your fragility. You know what? Take the fragility, fold that shit up, and shove it where the sun don't shine on a cow or something. I don't want to hear that. For somebody who always tells my people to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps, you motherfuckers don't like when you wear the boots. You see, you said, do you hear us? Just the mo this guy. What, what, Tim? What's Scott? They got so much going on. Like, why isn't Pete Hegseth in trouble for leaking secrets, leaking strategies for the second time? Why does he still have a job? Oh, Gum Scott? Yeah, well, this is what happened. When you're a useful idiot, when you cooning that hard, they're gonna basically, once your usefulness is up, you get discarded. Look at what's the name now. Look at Can't Dance Owens. Yeah, I know it's Candace, but Can't Dance. We remember the whole cowboy thing with fucking Ben Shapiro and her trying to do that. How how from I'm trying to let me get my words right. How the hell our lineage created, oh yeah, I forgot she's from Virgin Islands. There's a difference. Our lineage here created, well, black lineage in general created country music and you still don't know how to step to it or know how to pick it up. You make Whitney Houston look like she had more rhythm. And Whitney Houston was a terrible dancer. She was terrible. It was so bad that even in Living Color figured that out. And they had Kim Wayans do Whitney Houston Rhythmless Nation, which she was not happy about. But Can't Dance Owens, even she realized that you're a useful idiot. So the combination of her understanding how to grift and trying to also come back to using somewhat of her, whatever her blackness is, what's left of it in the inside. We all know, obviously, despite her thinking she's a white woman, we all know on the outside she can't define that. I mean, she can't defy it, not define it. She can't defy it. So even she knows the grift is up. Tim Scott basically had to be probably pulled out of there like Omarosa, kicking and screaming, had to be escorted out of the place. Remember her, right? Yeah, they were. Liver color skits were hilarious. Remember where Omarosa had to be fired and they had to escort out of that's Tim Scott. That's basically what they did to her. And I think a lot of them need that. They need that type of. If I see another Dominican on these little motorbikes, I'm gonna leave from mine. If you fall, bruh, if he falls and he split his head open, I'm off duty. I am off duty. I hate seeing you motherfuckers doing stunts like they Johnny Blaze with no helmets on. I've seen way too many people crack their fucking head open, but no one listens. Yeah, Omarosa got dragged out. Tim Scott got demoted. What he got? What was he before? Was he a senator? What was he? Or did he lose that? Because the moment he said America is not a racist country, the moment I stopped listening to anything that motherfucker had to say or anything in the news. You know, it's like when Larry Elder was running that whole fatherlessness thing, and he went up there and made a fool of himself, trying to gaslight Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay to the point where Van Lathan was mad. He's like, man, he's like, Larry, get the fuck out of here. That right there, he's like, get the fuck out of here. He's like, if you want, he's like, what is your? They was like, what is your solution to fatherlessness? He's like, for 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 me to talk about fatherlessness, you have to admit that I'm right. And no, you're not right. But tell us your whole solution. Um, you have to admit that I was correct about it before we can move on. That's when Bam's like, man, get the fuck out of here. All of them. They all. It's all a grift now. They're willing to sell themselves out because they think we're gullible as black people. And I'm talking about our own people think we're stupid and gullible. Oh well, because they had the wake up call and they realize that now they want to come back and they're back on our side again. No, fuck, stay where you're at. Stay where you're at. Because you done kicked our backs, you kicked your own people's backs and to benefit your own pockets and your own notoriety. But when shit really hit the fan, you want us to come and get you out of this situation. I'm tired of Candace doing it. I'm tired of other conservatives doing it. And you can have conservative views. Being a conservative doesn't make you a devil. Most black people have conservative views when it comes to especially when it comes to family related things. We have a lot of our families to turn out the right way. We do. And we want to believe in that. Or if we said we worry about if something got built on a shaky ground, what do? We try to stabilize that ground and build from here. That's just what we are. We have conservative, but we're not. When it comes politically, we know not to trust a lot of them politicians. We don't trust them at all. We just don't. We don't trust them. And I don't think anybody should trust them until they do right. To either side show they want to do right by us, we should not trust them. Like I was working the other day with one of the new EMTs. He's a conservative Mexican. I was like, yeah, how that's working out for you? And he's like, you know, I just believe in more things that he was gonna do for. I was like, dude, he been talking about immigration. He been talking negatively about immigration. You really thought that just because you are conservative and you have values that you actually was gonna get on his good graces. They deporting 2-year olds. Your name got Lopez in it. They trying to deport you. They're not even looking at the paperwork correctly. They trying to get you out of here. Who left my front door open? Seriously. Oh my god. All right, just checking. Somebody left my front door open. Let me lock it. All right. So I'm back home. I'm back home in front of my porch here. I'm on my porch actually. Ugh. Whew. Like I was saying, we have a lot of views that are basically on that level. A lot of us don't believe in this type of like we just it's in our environment. The negativity of our society, it's in everybody's environment. They just like to advertise the negativity that we live amongst. Like I got a drug queen that just walked past me now. They just want to think that that's all indicative to us and how we live. That's we just have a more resiliency to us as black people. It's not like we just like, oh yeah, it's just this is how we accustomed to living. No, we just basically make the best for what we can in the areas that we live in. Everybody up here, if you're liberal or you are conservative, if you are a good person, and you live a good life, you deserve to have police that actually give a damn about your neighborhood. You shouldn't have this mentality when you patrolling the neighborhood as a cop that, oh man, these people don't give a shit. I'm just here to collect the check. Yes, of course it's your job and you get paid off for it, but that mentality, I can't show up to work like that. Like I had a call couple like a week ago. This lady who this lady has a history of seizures. She might have other drug history, which I don't care about. This woman seizure allowed her to fall. It made her start seizing. She fell forward. She broke her jaw, yo. Me? No, not yet. I haven't learned it. I haven't learned. I gotta learn a lot more Spanish. But like I was saying, I had a call where I just can't show up and just be like, yeah, whatever. Even though as tired as I am, I have to assess the situation for what it is before I make any assumption and base the treatment off of such. So this lady, this 50 something, maybe early 60 something year old white woman, you can tell she lived a hard life. Anyway, she has a history of seizures. One day she was walking with her old man, and she caught a seizure and she fell forward and she broke her mandible. You could clearly see the deformity in it, that the jaw was broken. She was still postictal. It's the phase after you come out of a seizure. It's a phase where you don't have all your mental factors back yet. Some people don't speak. They can recognize you or blink, or they just they mind when you have a seizure. You resetting after that. Your body, something that caused your body to restart. Um, so they still trying to get their factors together. And some people are combative. Some people are just nonverbal or unable to follow orders. Hers is that she was a little bit. She's just combative. And I get in there, and guess what happened? Um, guess what happened? The medic shows up, the paramedics show up, and like, oh yeah, well, she's a frequent flyer. I was like, I was like, bro, this has absolutely nothing to do with the situation at hand. I don't care if she was in the hospital the other day because she OD'd or she got too drunk. Her jaw is broken because she had a seizure and she fell forward. Why are you treating her like this? So now I have to deal with my supervisor saying, "Do you still want to follow up with this?" Yeah, I still want to follow up with this. I get sick and tired of paramedics showing up way too many times with a disdain, like they don't want to do their job. They don't want to do their job because this is the disdain overall. This is why we get such a shit end of the stick when it comes to getting medical treatment and the hospital system, and it starts out on the street. Now I started noticing it started out in the street. I already knew about how it engages in the hospital, but it starts out in the street like that. Like you gotta convince them somewhat. They have to look at your history and be like, "Oh, yeah, he's faking. Oh yeah, he's chasing. Yeah, stuff like that." But when you have an inability to decipher who's chasing and who's not chasing. This lady's jaw is in fucking pieces, and you can see it there. I don't give a damn about her frequent flyer status. I never had her prior to this. You show up as a paramedic and you started getting lapsadaisical with it, or you just get lax in it because you don't give a damn. I don't like that. I really don't. You said one incident is not the same as the other. Yes. So I told another paramedic about that, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you was dealing with a paragard, huh?" I was like, "Yeah, I was dealing with a paragard." That's the terminology for those who now, because paramedics have more advanced training than basic EMTs like myself. So they have to learn how to read EKG machines. They can read a QRS complex in the EKG to know where there's a rhythm, there's a P wave and on the heart's rhythm. They know all that stuff that we don't, that they went to school for. They know how to give line medicines, how to administer somewhat, get doctors' orders, to make up the ketamine cocktail, to intubating people, things of that nature. When there's a cardiac arrest, they do all of that. But some of them get arrogant because now that they feel like they made it out of the class, they feel like they're better than you and they smarter than you. I'm like, no, you're more skilled in medications than I am. You are not smarter than me, and you're gonna give me the goddamn respect that I deserve as your coworker, or I'm gonna call you the fuck out once we finish on this call. And that took me a couple years for me to get there in the job because I got tired of people disrespecting me. Like, I understand that we in the business of saving lives, but come on, this is a teaching environment also. This should be. If you want to work, you work with somebody, We should be learning how to work with one another. I don't give a damn where we from, what walks of life. I don't give a damn if you come from central New Jersey in the suburbs and you don't like dealing with the drug addicts up there. Well, go back down to central and deal with the white trash you live with. Oh yeah, that's right. It don't pay as good as Jersey City's EMS. So shut the fuck up and do your job. That's how I feel. They have far more. They got two more advanced training, and you have they got to test. They got to go through all this training, and then they have to pass the paramedics exam, just the same way I had to pass the EMS exam. But you cannot be a paramedic unless you was an EMT first. If you have to be an EMT, you have to have your CPR. You have to get your CPR thing before you even study to become an EMT. You have to get your CPR license. You know, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR. I never knew what CPR meant until I became an EMT. So basically giving the compressions. But when the medics come in, they basically they get the line started. Sometimes they got to drill into a person's calf and like they shin and they administer on the leg and they administer the medications that way. They do a couple of things. And they administer the epinephrine. One gets there, they do a paralytic, so the relax the gag reflex, so they can intubate and put the tube down there. And then we can put the BVM there and start squeezing oxygen into their airway. You know, and basically, while a person's doing the CPR, they even got the Lucas machine. I don't know if you ever heard of the Lucas machine, but the Lucas basically does the plunging. It's just you put a shell under the person's thoracic area, and then you put the thing on top of it, and you put the plunger down, and it starts doing the CPR for you and stuff. But if there's a call and the medics aren't there yet, we have to do that manually as EMTs. We work hard. We touch more patients. Pause. We make more patient contact than medics do. Medics just get paid to do more when they are required. Not every call is a priority 2 or higher call. Priority 3 or higher. In our range, priority 3 and up. 3 to 1. 1 being cardiac arrest. 2 being unconscious, questionable life status. 3 being almost 2 part, like 3 just a step below 2, because it goes in reverse order. Um, Number 9. When we have a number 9 in our field, that means confirmed obvious death. The pronouncement now the medics got to come and do an official pronouncement via the doctor by making a phone call to the doctor to get official pronouncement time. Number 8 is a SCTU, which is a specialized care transport unit. 7 is transport. 6 is a cold BLS. BLS is basic life services, EMTs. That means you're making a call to somebody, but it's low. Somebody called because they have back pain, and they have back pain. They want to go to the hospital, or they hurt their pinky, and their pinky is probably broken. That's a priority 6. Priority 5 is I would say it's a injury due to a less serious traumatic incident, or someone's just sick, like they have loose bowels or something, or they just feel like they feeling real achy, they got COVID or something of that nature. Whereas 4 is emergent, like it's a traumatic injury that's pretty serious or potentially very serious, or if they really sick to the point where it's going to descend into something bad. What are you looking at, Petey? I'm looking at my dog like he's looking at something. What are you looking at? You see something, what? Is it a raccoon? Because I'm taking my black ass back in the house. We don't do raccoons. I know we see a lot of them in this hood. So, to do all EMTs have to travel with a paramedic. Now, 2 EMTs and 2 paramedics. It works like paramedic is a team. Not all paramedics have transport units.
Some paramedics show up with SUVs that are armed to the teeth with medications. And one, it'd be like this sometimes. If this is a call where we definitely transporting a cardiac arrest patient that we just resuscitated, I will drive my vehicle. The paramedics will be in the back with our equipment, our stretcher, and our ambulance. And they will be up there with their medications and their equipment, working on the maintaining the patient's life or working on them or whatever. And my partner will take the keys to their SUV and follow behind me, and we'll get to the hospital quick. Now, there's some situations where only one we stay a patient is sick, they're priority two, priority three sick, but they only one paramedic can maintain. So one paramedic will stay with the patient and maintain care with my partner. She will stay back there with the paramedic, and then the other paramedic will drive their vehicle following my me driving my vehicle to the hospital. Either priority two, meaning like lights and sirens, or lower priority, meaning that the patient's stable. So just go with the flow of traffic. So that's how it is. So it's it's a paramedic two-person team and an EMT two-person team. Sometimes we have a quick response vehicle, which means it's a solo response person, or the tour chief also. Our tour chief is paramedic. Most of our tour chiefs are paramedics. So if there is no available paramedic, that tour chief will come to the scene and work with us with the Lucas machine and with their bag of medication and try to get something started before the medics show up if there's no medics available because they on other high priority calls. That's how that works. So it's usually a two-person team. Um, yeah, so our scope of practice with EMCs basically in New Jersey here, we finally got glucometers. For years, they would not give us glucometers. We could not, we had diabetic calls, but we had no idea of knowing high, how high the blood was and how low it was. We had no idea, none of that. So they finally gave it to us. Like the same thing that you could buy from the store to prick your own finger and do your own blood. We finally got the right to read people's blood, BGL, blood glucose levels. We finally just got that done. That took a while for that. So we able to read blood, administer oral glucose, meaning if the person has low blood sugar but they still conscious, we can give them oral on glucose to help boost their sugar up. Because some people sugar, once your sugar drop down to the teens, you're losing consciousness. Your mental status is altered. You barely awake. So we can't just shove glucose in your mouth because you can't swallow, pause. You can't do none of that. You're welcome, man. So we deal with now we give out oral glucose. We can read glucometers to know to either notify ALS, which is the paramedics, advanced life services. We're basic life services. We do a couple of things like that. Um, we do Narcan, of course, because there's a lot of patients. There's a lot of overdoses that going in the fentanyl going around. Is no joke. I got doused with smelling the fentanyl and I felt fucked up. They didn't have to Narcan me, but I was like, yo, I could smell it. I could feel the burning in my throat, yo, and my head hurts. Get me to the hospital right now. This dude, I've been exposed. I already knew. And then he was like, oh man, the dude high, like, yo, I know it was in my bag, yo. I must have spilled, man. I'm sorry, yo. Just ride it out. I'm like, bro, just ride it out. But yeah, I got exposed to fentanyl before. It felt like my sinuses was burning. Who could put that shit in their fucking nose? That's what I would have asked. Who could put that in their nose knowingly? That shit was like it felt horrible. All it takes is to inhale just enough of it to render you unconscious. It's bad. I got doused with just enough to it made me feel like this. I felt horrible. I felt bad. So I know if people are actively putting that shit way up there and they doing a whole bag of it, I know damn well that ain't something I want to do. Yes, it gives you, it messes you up. It gives you headaches and it messes your mind up. And but if you get enough of it in your system and it renders you unconscious, it lowers your it lowers your it lowers your blood pressure, your respiratory rate to points where you might die. You literally might die. I'm trying to figure out, what is he looking at? What do you see? You near the whole what? What? I don't see nothing. You looking at that wrapper moving? It looks funny to you? Yeah, it does. But if you get enough in your system, it can render it. This is why we tend to see during the summertime, there's a lot more overdoses than it is wintertime. We got enough people who've been out here on the street homeless who use heroin and fentanyl. They know if they OD, all of your vital statistics drop down to a very low level, and the cold weather will finish you off. A person died on a corner on my job. Like my job is on Montgomery Street and between Mercedes and Bright Street, I believe. And a person died right there coming down off the turnpike on Montgomery and Mercedes. Old brother used to be out there all the time, big time heroin fiend. He used to be out there panhandling. One day I'm sitting in my ambulance truck and I am with my partner that day, and this black kid come over to like, yo, hey guys, I need your help. I was like, what happened? He's like, you know that old black man that be over out there on the corner all the time? I was like, yeah, I know who you're talking about. He's like, yo, he down on the ground, yo, he ain't up. I've been shouting for him to get up and he ain't moving, yo. So I went over and checked on him. He dead. He dead. Like he been out there the cold weather. Because he used heroin and he got so high it knocked him out. And that cold weather, because when I say your respiratory rate drops down to near non-responsive levels, and you doing snoring respirations and your blood pressure is low, it drops to the point where the cold weather will finish you off, because the cold weather already tanks your vitals and everything and drops your blood pressure, because your organs are freezing up. And if you're not putting enough blood and oxygen to them, you're just gonna solidify. My man had the glaucoma glaze. Bill Cosby has that one eye. Both his eyes was like that. That motherfucker looked like Scorpion when I opened his eye to confirm it, and he had rigor mortis. He been out there for God knows, like he was cold, like cold and rigor mortis, like the arm like locked in. I couldn't move it. It'd go right back in place. The rigor mortis done kicked in. And I went over there and I was like to my partner, I was like, Eric, he's dead. Eric was like, yo, he's an outlaw. Just calm down. He's not. Then he checked. And he's like, oh shit, you're right. I was like, I know I'm right. He's dead. I done found too many people dead in my early career to not know. So doing heroin in cold weather is pretty much it. And overdosing out in the cold elements on heroin is pretty much a death sentence if you're not found properly. It's to the point that we leave behind kits with people. And I'm like, are they going to use it on themselves? One person did leave it on himself, use it on himself. Again, the leave behind kid, he tore out the box and stepped out of it. He walked out of the ambulance against orders, but had a leave behind kit, and then he used it on himself. And guess what? Somebody else ended up calling. And he ended up going to the hospital. I was like, how are you gonna run out of our ambulance with the Narcan? We was about to take you to the hospital right now. You see what these things like? There's people that do make you feel like, you know what? It's like trying to take a piss in the wind with them. There are people like that, but basically, when you're in my ambulance and you're about to die, all that shit goes out the window. That's how I feel. That's how it should be. It should all go out the window. When you're dealing with patients, I know people test your patience, but when you're dealing with a patient, and even though they're in a situation that you've seen them in numerous times over and over again, you have to look at it like, all right, fuck all that. Let's bring this person back to life. And it's going to be a time where you know it's going to be too late for them, but that time you trying to make sure it ain't under your watch. But some people, you can't save everyone. I know I can't. Just because I can't save everyone doesn't mean I don't want to help the people that come into my ambulance. But my thing is, as a patient, if you're not in a serious, if you're not in a life-threatening situation, be kind to us out here. That's all I ask. Be kind to us out here because damn it, we are not out here. We out here dealing with y'all. A lot of y'all could potentially something can potentially bad happen to y'all, and you don't have to. Like, I don't give a damn if you don't pay your damn bills or not. The fact that I help save your life is I'm getting a check regardless, my man. You take that over my corporate care, I'm getting my check regardless. But the fact that I saved your life is rewarding enough. Have the decency to let us take care. If you are calling the ambulance because you need a taxi to the hospital to get you a cheese sandwich and a apple juice, be kind to us. Be kind to us, because I I don't give a damn about all that. Well, I'm here 12 hours a day. I'm here 12 hours a day. So be kind to us because damn it, man. I understand you and your situation as is, but nobody like ugh, it's a thankless existence. It is. Being an EMS is a thankless one, but it's thankless, but it's mentally rewarding knowing what it is to somebody you done saved, you legit saved someone's life. But it could be discouraging when you see that person OD 4 times within a 24-hour time. I had one patient like that, and we thought this man would live through thick and thin. And then it finally happened. He was gone. And we was like, damn, finally? I know that's fucked up. It's fucked up, but it's real. We were like, finally. And we weren't like, oh, what a relief. We was like, finally? Like with a question mark? We thought this dude was gonna survive. This man OD all the fucking time. And we was like, yo, we thought he was gonna he can live through it all, but everybody he left the hospital and went over and used for the last time. He went across the street from the motherfucking hospital and OD'd and died. But this is what he used to do. This is his motif. It was nothing out of the ordinary. It's just you can. This man would have been 48 years old this year. He's a year older than I am, and he had a place to stay. But some people can't shake addiction, unfortunately, and there's nothing we can do about that. We can't pick and choose the we get, even though some paramedics would love to have that. You know, they hate showing up to to help you resuscitate someone who's OD for the fourth time. They hate doing that. They feel like it's beneath them. I want to legit call me. I only want to come out and do cardiac arrest calls and stuff of that nature. They want to do stuff like that because it's that paragod complex. My partner actually hates doing cardiac arrest, and I'm like, why do you hate them? They're like, because the charting is terrible. I'm like, no, the charting is the easiest. I know you. I'll be trying to teach her, but she want to do shit her own way, so I can only teach her but so much. I was like, yo, you want to do like, but she's like, I got to be very thorough with it. I was like, you got OCD. I was taught in EMS school, I was taught an acronym, KISS, KISS. Can you guess what that KISS acronym stand for? When you in the class and your teacher says, when it comes to doing work, KISS, when it comes to explaining something. Like, take a guess. What do you think KISS, the acronym for KISS stands for? I'll wait. Nah, I'll tell you. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what my that's what my instructor told me. Like, don't be sitting there giving it too much elaboration and too much jargon. Keep it simple. Yep. Keep it simple, stupid. That's exactly what I was taught. And I was like, this is why cardiac arrest charts are the easiest. You don't have to worry about doing vitals, especially if the person's in the person died on you. You don't have to worry about doing vitals. You don't have to worry about doing that. You just gotta see if you can get a known time. You did this, what time, just get the time of pronouncement and get the time of when you stop doing it. CPR. That's all basically. I have one right here. I live on Wegman Parkway. And down the street, I had to call a contractor died at the house he was working on. And we didn't know, had no information on him. I was like, they was like, oh, that's his van outside. So I went in there and saw his name, and then I saw, um, I was like, I don't have no ID on him. Then I saw statements with his name on it. I was like, I still can't. That's not enough to give me a positive ID. So then I looked at the front of the place, and it had that same name, that same first name on the who's contracting, and they had the phone number to the people who own the property. So I called them up and I'm like, "Hi, how you doing? This is so and so with Jersey City Medical Center EMS." I was like, they was like, "Yes." I was like, "Are you saw? Is this your property?" I was like, "Yes." I'm at 127 Wegman Parkway, and I believe your contractor, your main contractor. What's his name? They was like, "His name is so and so." I was like, "Okay, yes, this person here is in cardiac arrest, and we're trying to save his life." Oh, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, he died. And they're like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" They're like, "Yes." I was like, please notify his family. It's here. We his body is here, and so and it's gonna the coroner is gonna come and pick it up. So next thing you know, the business manager came down there, and he was like he went in there, and then later on we heard other calls coming from that property. I think his wife showed up, and she probably lost it, and she probably collapsed. So we had to call. They had to come and transport her also. And you're right. You thought I was going to say something stupid. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Keep it simple, stupid. So I've just seen enough of these calls. And that's the thing. It took fairly recently, for us to start getting paid a decent wage doing EMS. People just think like, oh, because we're not nurses and we're not giving out medications and sodium or bicarbonate and all these other nonsense. Like it ain't nonsense. I'm just saying they think because we are basic life, so we touch hands-on basic with a lot of patients out here. We see a lot. There's no nurse I know to like, hey, I just walked into a house. It ain't your job to go do a welfare check and find a man bloated, dead in his bathtub for 1 week and his body is putrefying. You didn't have to take that. That shit is still burned into my brain. I went into that house and I can still think about when I walked into the apartment. I could see the bedroom over to the left, and then there's a little hallway. I mean, to the right, and then there's a little hallway that leads to the bathroom. And when I walked in there and I looked in the bedroom, like, where's he? Then I looked into the bathroom, and I could see that his body was bloated about 3 times the normal amount. His face was decaying and peeling. The skin was as black as this damn SUV in front of me, and black as the skin was on his face was as black as my car right here. And I still remember that because as soon as I got off the elevator, I could smell that corpse. But they was talking about, oh, you guys ain't, they don't think you guys are legit medical people because you don't deal with advanced array of medicines. I'm like, if you don't get the fuck out of here, we deal with so much. I was like, you want to understand why there's so much need for EMS workers, right? Because y'all need to pay us more. We see more things than these people just because they got this advanced training and they're nursing, they're resuscitating, they're giving out medications, doesn't mean that their job is harder than ours. It's not. We work the same length of time. We got to do reports just the same. But at random, who's doing CPR? We are. at random, who's trying to stop a person's arm from bleeding out because they got a vicious knife wound in it, and we tourniquet in their arm and trying to stop the bleeding. We are. You get it? We deal with a lot in this profession, and they need to start treating us with more respect. And financial, cut that check, cut that check. But I rambled on a long time. I gotta get to work in the morning. I gotta get up for work in the morning, and I gotta go do laundry, late laundry, so I can have my uniform nice and smelling right, because it ain't nothing as bad as working with a funky coworker. No, and I ain't talking about my partner, my current partner. I'm talking about some people I've been thrown in the truck with because I went without having a unit partner for months, most of my stint at my job. And this girl liked this one that I was with one day, she liked to wear tank tops under her, and she's a profuse PC sweater because we know a lot of PC people sweat profusely. Like they just sweating profusely. It's like, I don't know what it is. Like people like, oh, I'm like, ugh. So she had those pit stains in her jersey. Oh, thank you, man. I'll catch you later. But she had those pit stains. Then she was fixing the hair, and them arms were. I had to step out the ambulance. You cannot have me working with funky co people or co partners. And I got another video coming up about hygiene and PC people. So stay tuned to that. But anyway, I got to run. I didn't know that YouTube allowed us to do live videos on mobile anymore because I thought you had to have I'm only got like 900 something subs, and I thought it had to be 1,000 or better. But I guess it's back. Anyway, it's your boy Fury. Thank you for watching. I will check y'all later and stay tuned because I think I'm gonna drop that video about hygiene. I've been having it in the reserve for a minute, but I think it's about due time. So I'll check y'all later. Peace.